Before we start, I'd like to make a quick edit here. I know I was supposed to do a Let's Play that would win the straw poll after I finished the Fan Game Day, Flash Game Day with Sift Heads series. However, two games ended up being in the tight spot. Those being Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003. I am continuing the straw poll with only these two games, so you can no longer vote for Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Those who already voted cannot vote again, that should be noted. And as soon as that tie is broken, I will be doing that Let's Play. And yes, I did not receive my controller, so I cannot continue on my Sonic Marathon, which should be with Shadow the Hedgehog, as you already know. So instead, let's actually dive into some archetype analysis once again, because I haven't done those in a while. I've quitted on the whole seasonal thing. I have literally no idea what to do with School of the OTK since I'm practically out of the game since, well, properly out of the game since the Link era has been introduced. So yeah, more archetype analysis, and I'll be starting it off again with some smaller archetypes to get myself in the groove again. Alright, so today we're looking at Bouncers, a Zexal era XE spammer archetype, only made of 5 cards, and yeah, they were supposed to be like Bouncer from clubs and discos, and so yeah, they like put Z instead of the C to make it sound more Zexalish, I should say. But anyway, they were used by a Zexal character known as Gaucher, and yeah, he got rid of them. And you know how in Yu-Gi-Oh there's always like a character is using a better archetype and he gets rid of it to play a much worse archetype. That's kind of like how it was with Ryo Marufuji, Cyber Dragons, and Cyber Darks. So yeah. Here it's not the case. The Bouncers are actually worse here, since Gaucher got rid of them in order to get into Heroic Challengers, which is an insanely fun warrior spam Xyz archetype. But yeah, let's see why they got rid of them. Let's start with their first monster, which is the level 4 Blade Bounzer. He's got 1800 attack. He's an Earth monster. I think all of them are Earth monsters. And once per turn, if this card attacks and your opponent controls a monster at the end of the damage step, you can discard one card. This card can attack that opponent's monster once again during the battle phase. Well, the idea here was to use to spam these everywhere with like easy swarming and then get rid of the opponent's entire field. But 1800 isn't going to do much if your opponent has many monsters on the field. Why? Because if your opponent has such a big field, then all monsters are probably 2000 plus beaters already. So yeah. And yeah, discarding isn't something they will like doing, but yeah, there is a card that benefits by for being in the graveyard, but it has to be destroyed and from the field and then sent to the graveyard for you. So yeah, I'd say run 1 or 2. Well, actually, you would actually want to run 3, because it's their only low-level monster. But if it wasn't, I'd say run 1 or 2 if you want to. So yeah, their next monster is Hammer Bouncer. Their first tribute monster has 2300 attack, a level 6, also a warrior type. And if your opponent controls a card and you control no cards, you can normal summon this card without tributing. If this card attacks an opponent's monster, as long as you control no spell or trap cards, your opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. That's a neat effect for an archetype that only has 1 trap card. Yeah, they consist of 4 monsters and 1 trap card. Yeah, that's a pretty big abundant archetype. And yeah, you always run 3 of these because yeah, it's a free level 6 which you can summon without tributing. Most people prefer going second. The opponent's gonna be having a pretty established field. So yeah, you need all the free resources you can get. And the next monster is also worth running at 3 because yeah, Phantom Bouncer. And if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can add 2 Bouncer cards from your deck to your hand. Yeah. You always run this guy at 3 because he can search more of himself. He can search your entire archetype literally, and yeah, he's their biggest main deck beater. So yeah, but yeah, you have to rely on stuff like Soul Exchange, Monarch Stormfort in order to even get him out. Yeah, and their last monster and the only extra deck monster is Photon Strike Bounzer. It has 2700 attack. It requires 2 level 6 monsters, and once per turn during either player's turn, when a monster effect is activated on your opponent's side of the field, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card to negate the effect, and if you do, inflict 1000 damage to the opponent. Yeah, so yeah, this is actually a pretty good boss monster, but yeah, they're barely able to summon it because it's a rank 6 spam archetype, which even struggles to bring their main level 6 monsters onto the field consistently. So yeah, definitely worth running in any build if you're playing a Bounzer deck for whatever reason. And their last card is Bounzer Guard, the normal trap which lets you target one face-up Bounzer monster you control. This turn it cannot be targeted by other card effects or be destroyed by battle. This turn, if an opponent's monster attacks, it must attack that monster for an attack if it is still on the field. Yeah, you would most likely want to use this to put a target on Phantom Bounzer, so you can get 2 searches off. But yeah, run 3 because there simply ain't no better options for this archetype. So yeah, grades, consistency, Phantom Bounzer and Rhoda 4 Blade Bounzer is as far as it goes. So yeah, that's the strongest 1 out of 3 I've given out so far. Power, well, potentially they can hit really hard since, well, most of their relevant monsters are over 2000 beaters, but yeah, they cannot be summoned that easily in order for me to give it a solid grade, so maybe I'll be generous and give it a 2 out of 3 because they have a monster which can be summoned without tributing and is a level 6 one. And yeah, it has an Ancient Gearish ignoring back row effect. So yeah, that's cool. 2 out of 3 for power for me. Comeback ability, beyond soul charge, nothing. So yeah, 1 out of 3 there. Protection, none to speak of. Well, if you have Phantom Bowser's protection ability or Bounzer Guard, but that's just too specific for this entire archetype. So yeah, 1 out of 3. And as for the versatility, I mean, they can use Beatrice, which is limited. That's it. That's basically what the extent of what they can do. So again, 1 out of 3. Yeah, this is by far the worst archetype I have looked so far, and yeah, I am glad Gaucher got rid of them in favor of the famous heroic challengers and heroic champions. But it's really a shame since I really like the aesthetic and the artwork of these things. I like the beastly warrior type monsters which are really like strong and focused on beatdown. I'd really like to see them revisited one day, and maybe they can fix their swarming capabilities with more level 6 monsters, maybe to splash in some level 1s so with a special summoning condition so we can get Phantom Bounzer and Hammer Bounzer out on the field more consistently. Maybe Beatrice can also be maybe they can create something that can correlate to Beatrice's effects. So yeah, I'd really like to see Bouncers revisited. They will be my second favorite archetype with Beast Warrior aesthetics. The first one being Lunalights, of course, because I adore them. So yeah, these are by far the worst archetype I have ever looked at, but yeah, they really need to come back. I'd really like to see them revisited one day. I really like the style of not letting opponent do anything. That was kind of the thing with Hammer Bounzer and Photon Strike Bounzer. And yeah, fun fact, Photon Strike Bounzer actually belongs to 2 archetypes. The other being Galaxy/Photon archetype. So don't get surprised if we see him again in that video, if I'll ever do that archetype. But yeah, we're slowly getting back into this. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos and updates. Comment, like, and subscribe. And as usual, I'll upload the next vid whenever I can. See you all. Have a good day and peace.